We're getting so close to the end of the project now. I'm actually starting to feel nervous coming in here. Not exactly sure why, but should be well used to working on this car at this stage. By the end of this video, it's going to start looking very, very complete because I'm going to fit the wings, the bonnets, the lights and the bumper. And I can't wait to see that. The last things then after that will be getting drive shafts and wheels on the car. I removed this masking tape which was protecting the inner wing when I had been trial fitting the outer wing. There's still a few little bits and pieces on this wiring that routes through this area. And I used the cable tie again like I did on the other side to hold that up out of the way, out of trouble. Remove the same from the other side. One of the bolts for the wing had sheared when it was coming off, so I needed to drill the remains of that out, and then I would tap it and use a replacement bolt. There's actually only 3 along the top on both sides. Anyway, I wiped that down because I'm going to use a seam sealant between these two surfaces. The icing on the cake, if you like. I used this sealant on parts of the camper van several months ago, and I'm delighted that it stored well and seems ready to use. So careful now not to drag it all over the place as I land the wing. And a bit of lubricant there for the bolts. Don't look at that little spot of sealant on my finger. We'll clean that off in a minute. Same for the other side. Have to be so careful not to scratch the door with the little piece that slides in behind it. I guess maybe that's the reason for some of the tension before coming back in here, because so many bits of the car are so pristine. You just don't want to mess it up at this late stage and have to rework something. So tightened up the bottom bolt, and then this one in behind the mirror on the door, really. Used a bit of Q20 on the electrical contacts here as a moisture displacement. So that'll hopefully make a good contact right from the start. They just pop in. Same the other side again. Now, the horn was just too ugly looking to fit, so I'll have to give that a little clean up. Bit of zinc primer, and I used actually the wheel steel spray to make it shiny. That'll be in behind the bumper, so that's why I had to get that drying while I assembled the bumper. So this is that huge piece that I restored way back early in the project. One side of that, one of the corner sections, is actually the opposite side turned inside out and welded back together again, because I had a donor bumper but the same side was rusted away on both of them. And I'm actually using the donor plastic skin. It was in better condition than the one that came off Chewy. The person that sold this to us was great, gave us quite a few extra parts, and I've used most of the extras now, so it was great to have this and not to have to go and source a new bumper, because there was a nasty crack in the old one. We're just tightening it on in the different places. I'll fit that horn now. The more things you connect up, the more the wiring
starts to make sense as you narrow it down to the last few connections. Now, moment of truth for all that work months ago. Will it fit? A little bit of a twist and shove, and it went home. And I could find the fixing places. I'm going to try linseed oil and white spirits for revitalizing the bumpers. After a few recommendations. I've never tried this before, and I was immediately impressed. But we'll have to see how well it lasts out in the elements. But looks good. Very easy to apply. That's an amazing transformation. I do the same with the back bumper. And that really brings them up to the standard of the paintwork. So there's a few more bolts to hold on the bumper, connected to the wing there, and that's another one that connects the wing to the front panel. There's a little clip there that's for the side light to connect on, and this is a little bracket that guides the wires over the front panel just to keep it away from the metal and fraying. I'm glad that's still in one piece and reusable. Now there's the connections for the washer bottle and the left indicator. Again, a bit of lubricant there for the contact, and tuck that down. And now there's enough space for the light to slot in. I'll just take the battery out so that I can get at the bolts at the back easily, and also connect up the bulbs. So I got the first nut on there and then tightened up. There's two on the inside. And then one on the outside. Then the side light goes in over that. Connect it up before it goes on. It slides into place, and then there's two screws, one that goes through the wing and one that just joins up with the main headlight. The front of this car, with that broken mounting originally and stuff, everything was all a bit rattly, so it's very satisfying to see it coming together nice and tight now. I just organised the wiring on the driver's side now, And again, I have the guide for the cables out through the panel, and assembled up the two lights and tightened them up. This is the bonnet pull cable. So that just routes through here and goes on very much like brake cables on a bicycle. It was a little bit fiddly, and I was kind of mostly doing it by feel. That's that in place, and then I can put on the grill, which actually slots in to the headlights and then has two mountings at the back through the panel. I'm using new nuts and bolts here, as the old clips and screws were in bad shape. Now, the bonnet to top it all off. I'll protect that windscreen though. There's the little arm that supports the bonnet when you have it open. And the screws are in this little tray right since I took them off. So very careful now. Don't want any late scratches in the paintwork. Just getting that first one in is important. Could of course just ask somebody to help me, but I think I'm a bit of a lone wolf in the garage. With one bolt in, then I could put up the stabilizer and get the other ones all started. So I tighten them up. And that's the bonnet in place. Washer jets next. They just pop into place. There were these two little clips that I hadn't put on to cover the nut on the wiper arms. So that tidies them up. And then just route the hose for the jets along the underside of the bonnet, and they just push on. There's a little earth connection over here for the headlights. I'll just tighten that up. And then I can connect the bulbs to the wiring, both sides. I have the battery back in place. So I'll top up the washer bottle, a little bit of concentrated washer fluid against the frost in particular. I don't want that bottle bursting. And then we can drop the hood. Test the lights. Wow, there's life. Indicators as well. I tried both sets of washers simultaneously, but unfortunately only the back one was working. The motor is going well, but unfortunately nothing coming out. So that needs further investigation. Would you listen to that warning for the headlights? Chewy's getting very complete now.